Hello everyone, and welcome to some more horrific news. Alright, we got a gaming news that's popped up randomly, thought we'd have a look at it. Shinji Mikami wants to remake the game that inspired Resident Evil. In a recent interview with Eurogamer at Gamescom, the Resident Evil director Shinji Mikami was asked which game of his he would like to revisit if given the chance, and his answer was fairly unusual. He seemed to shoot down the possibility of revisiting Dino Crisis, the winner of the recent Capcom survey on the subject, questioning whether there was space for the game to make a comeback given the success of Monster Hunter. Instead, he picked Sweet Home as a game that he'd like to remake, a licensed Famicom title from 1989, that he wasn't actually involved with but later went on to inspire the Resident Evil series, where Mikami obviously played a huge part. Speaking to Eurogamer's Ed Nightingale and his friend and Shadows of the Damned collaborator Koji Suda at the event, Mikami told the pair, "Once I make a game, I really do want to do it over again. So there's nothing I'd like to remake out of the games I made myself. But there's a game called Sweet Home that is actually made by somebody else. Since it wasn't something that I made myself, I'd be interested in doing a remake of that. But as far as stuff that I made myself, I don't want to bother revisiting it again." Sweet Home, in case you've somehow never heard of the story before, was directed by Takuro Fujiwara, Mikami's mentor at Capcom, and eventual producer on Resident Evil. I saw players take control of a group of characters, each equipped with their own unique abilities, as they explored an old mansion filled with supernatural monsters, in search of the precious frescoes hidden within. Later on, it ended up being hugely influential on the early development of Resident Evil, with the PS1 title initially being conceived as a remake of Sweet Home. In the March 2022 interview with Bouquet Game Studio, Mikami said the following about the impact Sweet Home had on him as a creator. "I really love Sweet Home. One of the first creators I'd worked with at Capcom was Sweet Home's director. He was very talented and had this sensitivity to him. I could tell even if I was still a rookie, he would answer my questions. Then I remember Fujiwara calling me for a meeting a few years later. He told me how Sweet Home's system was good, but that the game didn't perform well. We wanted to try again and push that game system into the horror game. I truly enjoyed Sweet Home, so I completely agree with him. I was honoured I could work on that. It was a system that wouldn't make you think of the human. In that system, the various items you held allow you to progress in the game. It assigned each item to a specific character. A lighter would go to one character, another could have a vacuum, and so on. So you needed your friends who had your items in order to play the game, so you had to take good care of them. The point was how to survive in an environment with limitations. In the end, that's probably the main thing I took. The player has to make a series of choices, with limited resources in order to survive. I kept that, and I made something completely different. Obviously, there are a few things currently preventing Mikami from pursuing a direct remake of Sweet Home, with the main obstacle being licensing. To properly remake the project, he'd need permission from the rights holders of the film and Capcom itself, which could be tricky, as he is now working elsewhere at his own company called Kamui Inc. Nevertheless, I'd love to see this classic Famicom game get revisited, especially if it could be used as an opportunity to reunite both Fujiwara and Mikami. And that is it. That's an interesting one. I don't think it's arrogance about him not wanting to revisit his own properties. I kind of get it. If you're done with something, you're done. I'm kind of like that mentally. If I complete something, that's it. I don't really want to go back. I'm terrible at editing and going over a same project, especially if it takes too long. I like to complete something and then finish and move on to the next thing. I know there's that temptation. You want everything to be perfect and poke and mess about with it. But at the same time, I think when you get to a completion stage, you need to kind of just stop and move on. So that kind of makes sense. And I don't think he's doing it out of arrogance either. He was involved with this game, and during the time, what was it, NES? Right. I don't know, I'm not familiar with the game, but maybe thanks using up-to-date software and techniques today, might be able to bring it, to another level. Don't know, it'll be worth looking at. Anyway, there you go. There's a lot of stuff getting remade for platforms like the Resident Evil games, the classic ones at the moment, and I don't think it'll be out of the realms of possibility, so this could be something happening in the future. Anyway, let me know what you think, and until next time, keep updated with the channel, do the type of tricky things, and remember to keep it creepy, keep it horrific.